Marlo Payne Thurman, school psychologist and education consultant. You have been the subject of articles in New York Times, People magazine, Attitude magazine. On top of that, you are also one of the advisory board members of USAAA. Such a great list of accomplishments for one so young.
I'm not. Thank you.
Great. Who or what is it that inspires you to work in the Autism Asperger arena?
It's always been the kids. I have worked with, I started working with kind of high functioning, and at that time we weren't even calling it Asperger's because that label hadn't come back into use. But I started working with, really they were calling them almost gifted savant type kids, but these really very bright, very capable in some ways, but still very, very impacted autistic kids. And that was lots and lots of years ago. And I think all along it's always been the kids, and it's been those really kind of kitschy, offbeat, kids who just are struggling, and they have so much that they could contribute, but that they have so many hurdles that they have to overcome to really be able to, do what they need to do and, contribute. And so I think it's absolutely been the kids, and it's been hundreds and hundreds of them, probably thousands at this point. So.
What advice do you have for parents on the subject of education for a child who is challenged with autism or Asperger's?
I think kind of the thing I try to bring and try to contribute is this notion that so many of these kids have a lot more ability and capacity for learning and doing things than we give them credit for. And I think, I actually believe that many of these kids actually have higher IQs, and that there's a lot more of these kids that, we have a lot of these kids that have gifted siblings. Why? I mean, you have to be asking these questions. You have to say, okay, we should see 2% of our gifted kids, or 2% of our autistic kids should have a gifted sibling, but it's a lot more than that. And so there's definitely this underlying kind of unmet cognitive ability that these kids have. Now, being able to demonstrate it on an IQ test is another story, but that there's something in there, and that just because your kid can't get it in and can't get it back out again, that doesn't mean we sell them short and say that there's nothing in there. And so really helping parents understand that their children have a lot of potential that maybe we don't understand or that we don't recognize now, and that the more we can do to contribute to helping them be able to get those skills out and find a way that they can demonstrate what they know, and find a way that they can demonstrate their strengths. These kids all have really kind of unusual, kind of quirky strengths in the midst of all these deficits and kind of muddy mess things that they're trying to deal with. And so really trying to figure out what is that thing that this kid can do? What is that thing that that this particular child is good at? Or how could they, develop those areas of strength that would really allow them to be able to work and go to school and have some of these, and be able to contribute their thought process and their mind. So that's the first thing. And then I think the second thing is just keeping them rested. And I think so many times we get caught up in multiple therapies and multiple programs and this, and in the free time we gotta incorporate the social skills group and the friendship and the play dates and I think these kids are cognitively exhausted. It takes so much energy just to filter their sensory world that it makes it really hard for them to just feel good and feel rested and feel relaxed, and we don't give them the downtime, and their downtime means alone time. And there's nothing really wrong with taking some time away from people to really recuperate, and I think so many of these kids need that, but because we're so concerned about the social piece, we don't give them their downtime, their rejuvenation time, and they need more of that than other people because they're real tired. So that's, I guess, probably the second thing I would add.